Down to Urjit Patel's maiden monetary policy meet on the 4th of October, the market is hoping for a rate cut. CNBC-TV18 conducted a poll amongst all the eminent bankers to gauge the mood. Ritu Singh now joins us with more details coming out of that poll. Ritu, over to you.
Well, the markets may be hoping for a rate cut, but that's not what our poll says. In fact, most of these eminent bankers we did poll, 65% of those respondents said they are not expecting any action on the repo rate front, although 30% are a little more hopeful and are hoping for at least a 25 basis rate cut from Urjit Patel this time around. No action is expected again on the key ratios of CRR or statutory liquidity ratio, that is SLR. When we asked them what is the total quantum of rate cuts they're expecting through this fiscal year, 50% said they only expect one more rate cut of 25 basis points. 45% expect another 50 basis point rate cut through this fiscal, and only 5% expect a 75 basis rate cut from Urjit Patel. As far as the macro indicators are concerned, largely the consensus is that the GVA growth forecast of 7.6% for FY17, as well as the 5% CPI inflation target for January 2017, both of these are likely to be maintained by the Reserve Bank of India in the coming policy. Also importantly, we asked them if RBI will change its liquidity stance, but an overwhelming majority believes, which is 95% of our respondents, that no, RBI will stick to a neutral liquidity stance. There were concerns about with the change of the governor if RBI will change its stance, but that's not what our respondents seem to believe. As far as maintaining the real interest rate of 1.5% is concerned, a majority believes that yes, Governor Patel will stick to maintaining 1.5% real interest rates, but there is a fraction of 35% respondents that do believe that the RBI governor may do away with the concept of targeting any real interest rate at all. The tone of the policy fairly divided. Half of them expect it to be dovish, and the other half expect the tone to be largely neutral to a large extent. And lastly, very interestingly, as everyone's been talking about this, we asked our respondents if they expect the governor to ease the fight against bad loans, but 55% said no, they do not expect any easing from the RBI, but there is a 35% fraction of our respondents who did say yes, they should let off the bankers to some extent now that some of that cleanup has already happened.
Ritu, thank you very much for that. It's a pretty rounded view of what the banking community is expecting on the 4th of October from the RBI, rather I should say the Monetary Policy Committee. Thanks very much for that. Well.